Okay. I'll give you the recording. So welcome to the broom making. I like to do this once a year. Yay! So I hope you get into that tradition. And every door you'll want to have a broom. Okay? And you'll learn how to make these. So you can give them to people for housewarming, weddings. If you make a new broom, you can give it to someone else. So I'm excited to teach you all about it. You may think it looks simple, stick and some grass and tie it up, but it's the sacredness that you're going to learn today and the power of the broom. So I'm excited to do that. Before we begin, we're going to smudge. I like to smudge when I'm doing this because it's part of my tradition, but it's also because when we're making these brooms, we want to be in between the worlds. So we are going to smudge, clear us from where we've come from, the things that were on our mind on the way here, so that we can have our own sacred space while we create these brooms. Then we'll cast the circle of protection so that we have no other spirit getting in. And the energy that we create within that circle is going to be part of the spirit of your broom when you take it home. Okay? So we'll get the smudge going. Where's my smudge feather?
Right here.
Okay. So when we smudge, we're going to go in a circle and we're going to smudge each other. Okay? So when you're smudging, don't stand. This is for our air element. So when you smudge, you want to make sure you can hear the wings of the bird. So when you're smudging them, go like this. Okay. I traditionally go up one way, and then she'll turn around, and I'll get her backside. The backside is really important because that's where spirit comes in. So whenever spirit comes, or we're working with spirit, they come from behind us. So if you can pay attention to how you feel in your shoulders and the back of your neck, that's where you'll know, oh, something just came in. And by the temperature of that, you'll know whether it's male or female. Okay? So I'm going to get you all to smudge. Okay. I'll smudge Brett, and then he can smudge you. And the breeze helps the... That's a good smudging.
That is a good smudge going.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pass it on.
Now she'll do...
Oh, yes. Ken, come on up.
She'll do Dad. Dad will do... So my name is Georgina. I'm the one behind East Coast Mystic. And this is my dad who's getting smudged here. He's visiting and helping. He is single. But you would be my, I choose the mother-in-law now. As long as I'm boss. No, I'm just kidding. If you want to be my mother-in-law. Yes. Perfect.
That's a really good smudge going on.
Yeah. Thank you. And Dad, you could let them go with the circle and smudge. Perfect. They all want you to smudge. See? Good thing I mentioned you're single. Well, he is an elder, so being smudged by him is actually a blessing.
And I washed my hands right away, but it burnt my skin underneath.
Yeah, under here, it's like I was reacting to my ring, and so I stopped wearing it for a while because the skin was like actually different.
Oh, you got that? I don't need that.
When they get dirty, they harbor germs.
So how many people have made a broom?
But it's great black inside.
How many people made a broom?
Before?
Broom?
Awesome. Okay, I love it.
But not official.
Nope.
You never have to, especially if you have a lot of doors.
This is the garage. So while he's coming around, just have your feet flat on the ground. let the earth connect with you. Dad, you can come in the circle. Come inside.
Yeah, running out of space there. Perfect.
Okay.
I don't want Dad tripping over the logs and stuff. Into the burdock.
Awesome.
Yeah, it keeps relighting.
Yeah.
See, that's where I get my young looks from, hey?
Right.
Mid-40s.
Too cute. Ah, yeah. So how old does that make you in school or something? Yeah. Oh gosh, I love the smell. Yeah, me too.
You ever saw my dad? My dad and I had gone out and they called me his wife. My mom and I get sister. And we're like, nope, not like
is an ordeal to get it lit.
You can you smell the changes in the smudge? They all have different scents, right?
I think that there's not enough air. Right. I want to have a little bowl like this and or a shell. That's a shell, right?
Yeah.
We use the abalone shell because the abalone shell represents the ears of the ocean. And the abalone is what heals the emotional aspects of us that needs to be cleansed. So we'll use the smudge for cleansing, but the abalone will get to the heart of the matter.
Right.
Yeah, I felt that difference when I started using my shell.
New Zealand indigenous.
You could really use, like I like to use scallops shells too. They're really neat to use. I want to offer those more than the abalone. These are going endangered. These are getting endangered, so if you can find one, you know, grab it.
I brought one home from New Zealand. Had it in my backpack for like 8 months.
That's
I traveled it,
amazing.
and I was like wrapped it. I was like not letting it go and totally protected it. And I couldn't believe I didn't break it. Finally
I've
brought it
had
home.
this shell for 22 years, and I use it every day.
Where did you get it?
I was in BC at the time. I don't know where. Probably.
I think it was at that artist's studio out. Remember that place
In
where they
Harrison?
built that house, all the
Yeah,
different
some
things. And
artist place in BC.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Oh, the nut guy?
Wow.
Is it the guy that
I
this
mean-
guy was like hermitized mountain man, right?
Yeah, but you
And
know,
we see this wild
he's
house
good.
on the mountain, and it's like he
he's
kept building it,
artful.
but it was really weird shaping, but
Well,
really
if you drove by
funky.
the house, you just
We drove up, and he had a little shock there, so I was
everything
like,
was, and he'd had connectors from building to building, and they were built into trees and little.
It was
so
amazing.
completely different.
but he was a little.
He was artistic. I would have to say for sure.
You didn't know if he was gonna hunt you or
Yeah, he had.
you know, you couldn't tell,
when you-
right?
all of the, he had
was
just
scared.
really unique, different things in his place there that
But he was.
he'd never seen before in this huge shell.
Shuswaps area is where he was.
Yes. Yeah,
I've never
in
been out
BC.
west. I've never been lucky enough. Not yet.
Yeah. The Shuswaps is another traditional native ground there too. And when I was young, my parents had a little place on the lake there, and I found old grain grinders. They look like bowling pins. And and they always found arrowheads and everything in on the beach.
So we're using the white buffalo sage to smudge, and it traditionally comes down from California. It doesn't actually grow in Canada. And we like to use the white buffalo smudge because it is a very powerful cleanser, and the smell lets you know how much stuff has been healed or released or cleansed. So many times people will say, oh, I don't like the way sage or smudge smells. It smells like BO or marijuana. Well, if you burn that and it stinks, that means that you have actually... Whoa! I'm got a raven dad. This big guy.
Really more common than crows.
That's awesome. I'm Raven Clan. That's my thing. So if it smells like marijuana or BO or anything stinky or garlic, it means that a negative spirit has actually been banished.
Oh.
So if you cleanse a house and you're doing the cleanse. What is that, an eagle?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
he
what
is.
I was looking
The
at.
eagle's right there. Look, you called him.
Yeah, he is circling.
He just flew right over top of the house, like not high.
That's awesome. We got
Oh,
a
he's
raven
coming back.
and an
He's doing
eagle.
the circles.
Perfect. Thank you. I need to get smudged.
Mom, there's like 60 crows out in the yard and they're like flying all over the place and making so much noise.
Good enough. I smudged a lot this morning. Yeah, I had weird dreams. Like, that is gonna get smudged. Awesome. Okay, now let's cast the circle. So while I cast the circle, I want to focus on doing it all the way around the teepee and past the house. So if anyone needs to take a pee, we don't have to open the circle for people, okay? So if you do need to use a washroom or you want to warm up, feel comfortable to go and do that. If you want to have a smoke, just somewhere out around here, we won't light up in the circle while we're making the brooms, okay? So as we cast a circle, you want to just listen to it. It's best to have your feet on the ground because we're all manifesting this together, and you just listen to it. But I like to have people repeat after me. So if you want to repeat after me, that would be perfect. Okay? In this place, the circle's round.
In place the circles round.
We consecrate the sacred ground.
We consecrate the sacred ground.
With golden light, the space around.
With golden light the space around.
All power here contained and bound.
All power here contained and bound.
From the north, the things that manifest.
From the north, the things that manifest.
From the east, the things of mind.
From the east, the things of mind.
From the south, the things that motivate.
From the south, the things that motivate.
And west, the souls refined.
And west, the souls refined.
And yet no place or time there be.
And yet no place or time there be.
Between the worlds, our words and we.
Between the worlds, our words and we.
Ancient ones, come and see.
Ancient ones, come and see.
The space is sealed, so mote it be.
The space is sealed, so mote it be.
Okay. So before we get to making the brooms, I like to do a little bit of a lesson so that you can learn all about it and have that connection while you're thinking of it. You all have some twine. Oh, we have a few pairs of scissors. So do you want to hand those out and kind of scatter them?
Yeah.
We'll have to share, but if you brought some, that's awesome. Oh, maybe I took some. Uh-oh, Brett, we gave you away the scissors.
Oh.
It's okay. So we'll be sharing scissors, okay, if that's okay. So yeah, welcome. I hope all of you found your own broomsticks because I'm going to get into that as well. So here's a couple brooms. They can be any way. You'll see the twine on that one. Okay. And this broom is actually made out of broom. So in BC, there's a plant called broom and it grows. They have yellow flowers, and that is the actual traditional broom material. It doesn't grow here. I was like, as soon as I realized that, sick. This is, what, hay? Straw, thank you. So you can use straw brooms, are traditional. This has been used, it used to be pretty long. So when it's used like that, you can...
Unexpected company.
I'll keep it outside. So this broom I like to have outside still. But I'll keep it going until it's like a stick. And then I will give it to the earth.
All of it, or do you reuse the stick?
No, I'll give the whole thing. So brooms are very sacred to women. And they're a symbol of the occult. And they're actually a really important tool of the occult and for us. Because the broom actually represents the goddess. And the broom's element is water. When we use the brooms, we are working with our ancestors. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself spiritual or into witchcraft or whatever, your ancestors swept. And when they swept, and then when they made their brooms, they used that intentionally. So every one of you here has grandmother power, and that power will be going into your brooms. Okay? So when we have our brooms in our house, we honor them as a connection to the other worlds, so that our ancestors have a portal of power to work with us and to stand guard in our home. So the element of the broom is water, and water represents the past. Okay? So when we use the broom, we are actually tapping into the past. We're tapping into the past, we're tapping into the pain, and we're also tapping into the hidden and the unseen. Okay, so when certain aspects in our life arise, the broom will get your attention. Okay, if you are in a state of pain or dealing with things that are difficult, it's important to connect with your broom so that you can call your ancestors to you and have them help and activate you into that. And you'll learn all about that today. But it's healing with the ancient ones, and that's how I want you to see your broom as a tool to heal with the ancient ones. And that's why with the occult, it is such a powerful tool, because brooms work with spirit. Okay? Now when I talk about the occult, I'm talking about actually performing sorcery, magic, rituals, and spells. All of these are ancient, they're traditional. As far as modern day religions, well, I see modern day religions as Christianity and that sort of doctrines, okay? So for us, the brooms are that. So healing with the ancient ones and using the energy of spirit is what takes place. Now, when I'm talking about this stuff and the energies of spirits, I'm not talking about anything negative, okay? Because when we are connected to actual spiritual, true spirit form, we're talking about omnipresent beings that have ability to come into our house, come into our lives, and help us. And these helping spirits, these ancestors of ours, are higher world beings. Their vibrations are incredible, and that's what we work with. Negative spirits and that sort of thing will not be drawn, because this protects from that. And those mundane spirits are not higher world. So that's mundane stuff, that's human created. So if you ever experience negative things or a negative spirit, it's really simple to get rid of that energy, because you're dealing with the Middle Earth energies. Negative spirits are not higher beings. So a lot of people have, you know, the religious connotations on what a lot of this is. We don't practice anything negative, because we believe that that is human created and from the mind. We also don't believe in negative entities like demons or devils, because those are not our deities. That's what religion created. That's their God. So we don't believe in that. We believe that it's human created. If we're in a negative state, what happens? We go into a black hole, right? And things just seem to get more negative. And that's the power of the mundane Middle Earth. Okay? So I want you to know that when we practice only positive stuff, because that is the true spirit. That is the true nature of spirit. Anything that is not positive, that's in play or tries to get us or distract us, is simply, you know, mundane consciousness that we're connected to for some reason. Okay? So if we get into, let's say, I'm angry at something, that anger is part of a living consciousness that is always around. So when we feel lazy, we decide, okay, I'm not going to be lazy anymore. We're lifting ourselves out of another consciousness by making the choice that we're not going to be lazy, so I'm going to be happy and go on an adventure. So every mood and frequency we are ties into some type of consciousness that is alive and never ends. And that's why sometimes, you know, you'll be in a part of your life and 3 days in a row you hear the name Tim somewhere. Okay, well, that is a message, and that's why it is repetitive. So for us, magic is neutral. It's in between the balance of negative and positive, and we allow ourselves to tap into the universal law of function, and that's what magic is all about. Creating a new cycle and allowing the universe to use the universal law of function, which puts things into their perfected place. It is only us and our attachments or our mentalities that will get in the way, right? So, sorry, I'll keep going. If you have any questions or anything, just hold your hand up and feel free, okay? So so we use the energy of the spirit and what it takes place for us. The broom reminds us to believe in magic and spirit. And it's pretty interesting. The first documented witch's broom was actually in 1453, and it was a confession that had to take place. And they confessed that they used the broom for fertility rites. So the broom is definitely considered a symbol of fertility, and I'll get into that a little later. But yeah, she was persecuted for creating a broom for fertility rites. But that was the first official document that is out there. I'm sure there's a lot more before that. But the broom that we have and we're making will represent balance. It is a masculine and feminine tool. So you all have your broomstick. That broomstick represents the phallus. So who's got the biggest phallus here? Okay.
It's pretty.
It's just long.
Yeah, so that broomstick will, give you a little recognition of what you like. A little curve to it. Short. I had to throw that in. So the broom will actually balance us. Every living thing, whether it's one blade of grass or ourselves, has a masculine and feminine energy. And we have it as a woman, okay? Many of us have gone into a place where we have gone into a security mode, or we've had to take on a male's roles. So having a broom in your house will help you stay balanced so that you can be in that state where you're not taking on too much, okay? So the broomstick actually represents the male energy, and the female is all of the grass that you've picked, okay? Now, as far as your sticks are concerned, I want you to kind of treasure where you found them or how it got your attention, because it's the nature spirits that took you to your stick, okay? So if you were walking in the forest and it was right there, it's the fairies and spirits that were the ones that attracted you to your stick. And those fairies and spirits, those elemental spirits, will and are around you. They've been around you. That's why they helped you with your stick. So if you found your stick and it was a neat experience, you have a connection to nature spirits, okay? Nature spirits, this is a time where it's really good to make the broom, because when spring comes and all the blossoms come, the leaves are blooming, the flowers are blooming, that's when the nature spirits come into our world. And as the trees start to change color, the nature spirits get called back to their doorway, and they need to get in there before the leaves fall. So sometimes nature spirits won't make it back into their dimension before winter, and they will come to places that have the broom outside or an acorn in the window. So, sometimes you will hear a little rustle in your broom, and okay, nature spirit is here. And if you have nature spirit around, they are helping you manifest something in your life in some way. And that would be depending on if it's earth, air, fire, water, right? So we also use the brooms to clean our psychic debris. Now, how many of you feel that you have intuitive abilities? Well, you all do. Okay, in some way. It may not be, practicing it every day, but it is going to be activated in your life. And psychic abilities are also things that when we're dealing with in life that we need to contemplate. We are actually tapping into our higher self. Okay, and when we do that, our higher self, our brains actually flip. Okay, when we go into our higher all the birds are going to come around. I'm a bird person. I just love them. But when we go into an intuitive mode, our brain actually starts to work differently. And our logical actually flips. And our subconscious comes forward. Okay? So the broom is something that will keep your intuition clear. But we use the broom to clean all our psychic debris. You got to think about all the stuff we deal with. We come home, and as you relax and that stuff leaves your mind, where does it go? Right? You can see dust bunnies at times. Imagine psychic dust bunnies. So for us, it's very important for us to clean up that psychic debris. And for me, because I do lots of readings, I don't want that debris of what's been discussed all over. Okay? So when you have a conversation and it's of a spiritual matter, there will be psychic debris on the floors. It comes out into this world and it will settle. Okay? So we use a broom to cleanse psychic dirt, and we also use it when we're stagnant. So if you're in life and you're feeling stagnant, things aren't happening, and you're like, ugh, then you will want to use your broom. And we all get into that phase, right? But all of a sudden your process will come in and be like, you're stagnant, and you'll know you need to sweep. Okay? So pay attention to that. If you feel things aren't moving in the energy that you want, sweep. If things aren't happening as fast as you want, sweep. Okay? So it will keep everything clear. The same thing is when we smudge. You can see the smoke that's happening, right? But once that smoke dissipates, what's happening? All of the matter that's heavy falls. So you do want to sweep your areas once in a while. So use it to sweep away psychic energies and also sweep away stagnation. The other thing the broom is used for is to calm the mind. So there are people that will have a lot going on. It's like spinning and it never stops. That's overactive intuition. So if you have trouble slowing down your mind and you can't get it to a place of silence, you will want to just hold your broom or have it by you or put it in your bedroom, and it will help slow that down so that you can actually receive the messages that you're meant to. So if you have a lot of, if you can't quiet your mind, this is the tool for you. Okay. We will also use the broom to focus in on stuff. Okay, so if we're working on things and we want to know where it's going and where it's headed, we'll use the broom and just focus on what it is. Wait, try to quiet the mind, and a vision will always come forward. So as soon as you hold your broom and have it, depending on what hand you're working with, and you quiet your mind, you will always receive a symbol, an image, or guidance from the goddess. And remember that goddess power is not only around us, but it is within us. So when we honor our spirituality, we are honoring our inner femininity, we're honoring our inner goddess power, and we're co-creating with the universe. It is also used to protect our homes. So traditionally, the broom is set either outside of the doorways or inside of the doorways. People like to have them outside. Traditionally, if you drive and you see someone with a broom, we know that they're considered, magical, right? And we honor and bless that space as we're driving by, and we enjoy seeing that. So it's a way of blessing that power. Every time you see someone's broom, just thank you, or I honor you. Just mentally give it some type of blessing. So we use them to purify and protect our home and also to prepare for our sacred circle. And the reason why we will use the broom for our sacred circle is to get rid of all of that debris I discussed, and so that our space and our ground is consecrated and ready, and there's no negativity around, and we know it's clear.
Do we bring them back when we bring our cake?
What?
Do we bring them back when we bring our cake?
What do you mean?
Like for the end ceremony? Do these come back?
Come back there.
Come back here?
Oh, you mean for your initiation? Yeah, you could do that, definitely. Sorry. I was like...
Had a moment. I did have a moment.
So for us, you know, whenever you just feel like you want to connect with spirit, or maybe you have a family member that is in spirit, I would sweep my room, like sweep a little bit, and you can just go back and forth, and as you're sweeping, think, oh, okay, Grandpa, come to me, or Grandpa, you can call people while you're activating that broom, okay? So the other thing is, when we make the brooms, a lot of people will stand their broom this way. And in some traditions, that's the proper way. But in a lot of traditions, and most traditions, it is to have it this way. And the reason why is for the nature spirits to go in there and play around, okay? So you can have it standing any way you want. There really is no rules. I like to have mine standing with this touching the earth because the grass represents Earth Mother, right? So for her to have that energy is, you know, for her. So when you have your broom placed in a specific location, and all of a sudden you walk into the room and your broom is laying on the floor, then it means that there is unexpected company coming. And if nobody knocks on your door that day, then you know that unexpected company is a spirit. So then if my broom falls and nobody's knocking on my door, I will pay attention, and I will then do spirit work to find out who's here. Is it male? Are you male? Are you female? And you can do that in many different ways, right? You can feel it and ask, pull cards, whatever. So if your broom drops and nobody shows up, know that a spirit has entered your home. And of course, those spirits would be positive. Okay, so you don't have to be like, oh my God, I got, you know, something creepy here. And no, you don't have to be scared. Just welcome the energy and know that they're trying to get your attention because they are bringing something into your life. Okay, so is it human or spirit when it falls? And that's actually, that will happen when the broom is around you. Okay, so I know that if you walked into the room, I'm going to pull that back. So if you're there and the broom handle falls, spirit or someone is coming. It's unexpected. Now say you walk into a room and your broom is on the floor. You didn't hear it drop, but it's just laying there. Then it lets you know that there is luck trying to come into your life. Good energy of blessings and good luck. So then you pick up the broom, and as soon as you pick up that broom and lift it and put it into place, you have directed that channel of blessings to you. So I love it when I find the broom on. If you know me, I'm a gambler, okay? I'm like, casita! Buy a lottery ticket, you know, try something lucky, just, you know, do it, try it, work it like it's a science. You know, I want to see if this is really lucky, and go buy a scratch ticket or whatever. But that's what it traditionally means. It means that the spirit is trying to bring you blessings, and it is of the earth element and monetary form, something tangible, okay? And it has to do with good luck coming your way. The other thing is whenever you sweep out of the back door, it means that you're sweeping out bad luck. So you could do that every once in a while, but we always sweep out of the back door. Don't sweep on New Year's Day. They say that if you sweep your floor on New Year's Day, you'll have a tough year and bad luck will find your way. Now, personally,
Wait, say that again. Sorry.
if you sweep on New Year's Day, Bad luck will find your way is what it was traditionally like. But I don't believe in bad luck myself, so I don't go with that, right? But I also don't sweep out the back door because I don't want to, go there. But traditionally, New Year's Day will bring a year of difficulty and bad luck. So we would traditionally wait to the third day of the New Year's and do the sweep, okay, for good luck, okay? When you're holding your broom and if it drops, then that means that there is a new path in your life. So as soon as I'm holding, and maybe while you're making your brooms today, you'll drop it. That's when Spirit just brought something in for a new path in your life. So be aware of what's new. And these are not things that you create. These are things that you will experience on your path. When we do sweep, spiritually, we will burn the debris. We'll burn it in our cauldrons or a fire pit, or you can give it to the earth. But we give it to the earth as an offering. So don't sweep it up and then chuck it in the garbage. Let it be sacred. And most of the time when you use that broom and sweep up the debris and you come outside, as you stand there, the wind will just take it from the dustpan. And you'll be like, wow, that's cool. Okay? And if not, you just give it to the earth. She wants to heal that energy. We will use the broom for banishing. So how many of you seen Practical Magic? Okay? Practical Magic? What? How many people haven't seen it?
So good. So good.
Really? And you saw them use the brooms for the banishing?
Oh, yeah.
So we use it doesn't go like that, but spiritually it does. So they did really good on that show. It's one of my favorites.
I feel like they did a few good things in that.
Yeah. So we use and we use it for banishing. So if I'm like in a phase and I have a 21-year-old son, and if I'm stressed out about him, you don't want to carry that. So any negative energies or stressful energies, we traditionally sacrifice it right away. And when we sacrifice that energy by releasing it out of us, we're giving it to the universe to help us co-create. So if I'm upset or worried about something, it doesn't matter if it's, relationship, money, health. When we release it to the universe, we're saying co-create with us. I need that power. And that's why we give all our negativity as a sacrifice, so that it can start a new journey instead of carrying it. If I deal with anything that's stressful, I get rid of it as soon as I recognize it, and then I just wait and see how the universe helps me with it. And it works, because we are so used to taking things on ourselves. So if you are taking things on yourself, grab that broom handle and just sweep a room, you know what I mean? Who cares if the husband's looking at you? Just give him that stern look if it's him that's stressing you out, right? Right? He's in his chair, just go right in front of him, sweep, right? He'll get the picture. He'll know that every time you're using the broom, you're doing magic, right? So the husband should know that yeah, I don't mess with her when she's got that broom. She's doing some kind of work, okay? So if we are walking past our broom and it tips and falls, then that is the broom and the ancestors telling us that we need to do a cleanse. So sometimes as you walk by, the broom will just fall. Know that you need to smudge, use the broom. However your sacred way of cleansing things are, use it. But that means, imagine your great-grandmother saying, clean up that shit, right? Honor her. And then do a cleansing right away. Right there. Even if it's just lighting a candle for her to know you got that message, I'm going to clean up this stuff. And when that happens, you're going to know, because whatever you've got going on up here, she is not approving of, right? She's caught you. You don't need to focus on that. means to clean your energy or home. When it falls, I cleanse myself, I cleanse my home, and then I just light a candle, make sure that the energy is clear and I'm good. We also use I said to use the banishing. So if you ever feel that someone has put negative energy on you, or you're negative, or you experience someone else's negativity, get it off. Get it off. I remember when I was younger, I'd, drive down the street, and if someone flipped me the bird, I'd be upset about it for 6 hours. I couldn't get rid of that feeling, and I'd be like, oh my God, someone flipped me the bird. And no, I don't do that now. Now I just go home, light a candle, screw you, and I'm done, right? You don't have to carry it anymore. So we learning how to release and let go of those difficult things is one of the first things that are really important in honoring ourselves and finding the avenue of what works. Sometimes it's lighting a candle and doing that, or writing a piece of paper and lighting it, or having a healing bath. But you will want to find something that will help you let go, and the broom will do that. So sweep it away, okay? If you're grumpy, that is actually very cleansing. Okay? So if you want to bitch for, 10 minutes, sweep away. Okay? And the reason why is because you are actually balancing your masculine side and your feminine side, right? And you're going back into a unison place. Okay. We like to place our broom at the front door, and the front door is the door that you use, not so much the front door of the house. So your main entrance is considered the front door, and the reason why it's nice to go there is because if there is anything negative on you, it doesn't even enter your house. Okay? I can look at my broom in the corner when I have people come in, and I know whether the broom likes them or not. So you will notice a personality with them too, in certain aspects. And on your broomsticks, those knots that you have, if you have any knots on your broomsticks, those will actually represent the eyes. So the instincts of men are instinctual. That's their power. So all knobs will represent the eyes. Okay?
They look like eyes.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so know that that's what's, keeping that evil eye out of your house.
That's why I have a lot.
So the broom is actually the strongest tool to protect against negativity or dark magic. And that's why it is a tool of the occult. Because they know that if they got that broom, nothing's touching you. They don't have to worry about anything. Okay? Yeah, good day to make a broom. Now, those are some of the ways that you can use it.
Bum, bum, bum.
While it's just sitting there in your home, the broom and the energy of the wood and the grass, they all mean different things, so everyone's got different woods. But what it does by having it in your home is it brings in health, it brings in wealth and our abundance, and it brings in peace for our well-being. So the broom will allow us to learn how to relax more, but not relax in a state where it's like, right? It's actually the comfort that we have. When you want that comfortable food, that cozy food, the broom brings the warmth in, okay? Okay, let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. Insomnia. How many people have trouble sleeping? Okay, so this will be good for you to try. So whenever we have insomnia or we're staying up late and we can't get to sleep, that's a sign to bring your broom into your bedroom. So put the broom in your bedroom for about 3 nights and just see how that changes your sleeping pattern. And actually, because you're making them today, it is traditional to place them in your bedroom for 3 days before you put it into the place of where you're going to do it. So for this being a full moon tonight, that's pretty cool. It will affect your sleep and your crown chakras and all of your intuition and magic. So put them in the bedroom if you can and see how your sleeping pattern changes.
Okay, if you're not sleeping in your own home tonight, huh?
Put it right beside you then.
I'm gonna weird people out with my. Like, excuse me.
Put it, you know when you put the pillow in between the knees, put the broom in, sleep with your broom on.
Ready for takeoff.
For young children, say you have a young child and they're not sleeping very good and they're up all night, we would slip the broom under their bed. And it would help them fall asleep and they won't have those night issues. The other thing we do is we use our brooms when we're opening to channel and when we want to channel more energy or when we're directing. So sometimes if I'm doing certain magic, I'll actually use this like it's my wand. Like casting my circle, right? It's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's when I do mean business. So we'll use the broom when we're trying to channel. And one way we do that, so if I'm doing a mediumship reading and I need to contact a spirit for one of my clients, I put the broom at an angle in the doorway. So whenever you're opening to channel or want to communicate with a spirit that's passed away, in the room that you're doing the work, any doorway, place the room at an angle and let it stand. And that's how the spirit will come into that doorway. And if you actually do that at nighttime and you look at and have the door open, right, and the broom's in the doorway, and you look at night, you'll actually see like a misty screen in the doorway around the broom. And you'll probably be able to see the aura of it. If you see that misty energy in the doorway, your veil is active. Spirit has come through. So then you know you can trust and everything that's coming is from spirit. So try that. If you're missing someone that is passed, put the broom there. Ask them to join you, light a candle, see what happens to that candle flame and the energy in the room. If there's mist, they're there. Okay? So I like to do that to speak to spirits that are passed on. As long as the broom is there at the angle, you'll be able to communicate with them. So they won't take off. You could have a 4-hour, connection if you wanted. Okay? The other thing is, in ancient times, brooms were sacred in the temples, but when they were cleansing the temples, they weren't using the brooms on the floor. They cleansed everyone's hands. So the old form of using the broom was to go around and cleanse everyone's hands with a broom. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to talk about sweeping. So when we sweep with our broom, we always start at our door and go inward. So you sweep and you're going into a circle and you keep doing that until you land in the middle of the room. Okay? And then that's when we'll pile it up. When you sweep clockwise, you are creating power. So it's some kind of power builder. You're generating power. So you want to be thinking about what you want. If you're using it to release energies and anger, frustration, or anything, we do it counterclockwise. Okay? And counterclockwise will allow an opening to take place and cleanse that energy. We're not giving power to it. We're taking power away from it. A lot of people will do the cleansing counterclockwise. Oh, I did it wrong, right? No, I'm backwards. Which way is counterclockwise? That way, right? Okay, yes. Okay. So when you're doing it counterclockwise, you can do the cleansing until you get to the middle. Then after you take that out, you could come back and then do the clockwise so that you're building the power to how you want it after you do the cleansing. So instead, if you're dealing with someone that's an asshole, you can ask them to bring you a date. Just turn that energy to how you want it. We take control of it and change it to how we want to see that negativity. Okay. We will also use our brooms for different floor washes. So if you want money, let's say, we would make a basil. You can use basil, cooking basil, boil it in some water, sprinkle a little bit around or spray it, and then use your broom and sweep with it. If you want love, you can use rose. If you want healing. So herbs all have a frequency that when we put it into our system or work with it magically, it enters into our being. We're more light beings than we are physical, right? So it enters into our auric field and helps us get to that attainment. And that's how herbs are worked. It adds frequency to our own frequency, okay? And so if we're low in energy, our frequencies will run maybe at 400 hertz, and you add lavender to it, your frequency is going to rise. And that's how we work with herbs. We use the frequency of them. The Chinese believe that you should never sweep your home in the first 2 days of the Chinese New Year, because it would be like sweeping all good luck away from the house for the coming year. So a couple different traditions in the New Year's thing is that our traditional New Year's is Samhain, which is October 31st. So I sweep on that New Year's. That's my New Year's, I can sweep on it. But the January 1st New Year's, there's so much tied into it, and it's pretty modern. That's where they say it's bad luck. But you can sweep on Halloween. When we sweep on Halloween, and because it is considered our New Year's, we are welcoming in the deities and the different god and goddess energies, or our family members that are passed and all of that. So for us, sweeping on Halloween is very sacred and special to us. And it also begins at midnight. So say you sweep on Halloween around midnight, as soon as the clock hits 12, from midnight to you will start to experience little noises in the house, like spirit will start to let you know they're there.
So is that on like Halloween night, and then when it turns 12 to November 1st, or the night before?
12 November 1st.
Okay.
Okay. So as soon as so you practice your ceremonies, and then you go to bed as soon as midnight hits. So it would be November 1st. You'll pay attention to what you're hearing. Okay. And that means that there is spirit there. And the reason why we will also cleanse on Halloween is because it does get rid of all evil spirits. So for us, a lot of people that practice magic, we believe we're conduits of change, and we believe that we're fighting these forces of whatever man's created or whatever. And so for us, when a lot of people sweep on the same night, it does actually affect, the brain waves that are going around in this world, or where we're at, okay? So when you sweep, know that you're sweeping with millions, and there's great power in that. Okay, so we're using seagrass, and that's because we're on the East Coast, and it's awesome. It represents Earth Mother's hair. And we can tap into any of the earth goddesses or the sea goddesses for that power. And this seagrass, the reason why, I can't really pronounce the name of it, so I will post it on my page. But the reason why we use this is because it represents our roots, our connection, and our foundation. So a lot of us are, middle-aged. We want our foundation to start taking us to the place where we can enjoy and relax, so that's why we like to use the seagrass broom. Okay. The other thing is, I'm almost done. The other thing is a lot of people do not believe in broom flying. However, broom flying is a technique and a practice that we do on Halloween. And there's lots of different ointments. I mean, you could Google it or whatever, but I'll share you the herbs that we use. So if you wanted to try to broom fly, we do make an ointment, and that ointment we will rub on our bellies, our third eye, we'll rub on our ears, our hands, and our feet. Okay? And broom flying is pretty much almost like meditating or going into an astral projection. But when we do it with this, we do it and we'll get into that astral phase where we can see all of our friends. So we'll meet together, and we can only do that once a year. So I have a lot of people in BC from my group out there. I can meet up with them in the astral plane, and we'll both know it. And when we come back, we're like, holy shit, I saw you. They're like, I saw you too. And I'm like, you know, so you can actually meet up with people if you have a good spiritual connection with people. So our group, our Coventry, we go and we meet up in there. Okay. So I'm going to let you know how to make these. There's two that I like to make. It depends on the ingredients. But the herbs that you'll want, and when I'm talking about these herbs, you just add a pinch. And we use our blessing fingers. This is represented as our blessing fingers. So we'll pinch and throw it in. And I like to do 3 pinches of each. So don't grab a handful and throw it in. Just use your 3 fingers. So you can use in one ingredient, recipe 1, cinquefoil, skullcap, mugwort, sage, angelica, lavender, yarrow, and oregano. So any of those herbs, you don't have to use all of them, but the more you can use, the more potent. But you do have to have a minimum of 3, okay? Then and you could also, instead of the herbs, you can also use essential oils, okay? But herbs I like because it looks cool. You will put those herbs into 2/3 of a cup of oil, and the oil can be any carrier oil you like. A lot of people traditionally use olive oil, but when you're using this ointment will last for years. So olive oil will take away the smell, and you'll get that almost like a waxy smell. It's hard to breathe. So I like to use grapeseed oil or coconut oil. Grapeseed oil is non-allergenic, so you can share with your friends. Sometimes you'll say, hey, bring your broom over. Let's do a broom flying together, and there'll be a group of us all doing it together. So you'll know that no one's going to have an allergic reaction to that oil. And then we use 1/3 of a cup of beeswax. You can also use soy wax as well. I wouldn't use paraffin, anything like that. It could affect you, and it doesn't heighten you. So natural soy wax or beeswax works. When you apply the ointment, you need to do it 30 minutes before you will actually get anywhere, because it needs to go into all of your frequencies. Now we have this tangible body, but we actually have 12 other bodies, our aura. And each one of those 12 bodies has a consciousness and vibration of their own. So when we put that ointment on, that frequency will take over not just us, but enter into all of those auric bodies, and it's easier for us to take off. So for people that aren't good at meditating, using this and waiting 30 minutes and trying it, it's awesome. Yeah, it's not as hard. You don't have to sit there and try to silent your mind. Okay? Recipe number 2. So the second recipe, you can use 1/4 cup of lard, 1/2 teaspoon of clover, 1 teaspoon of chimney soot, fire pit soot. I use cauldron soot. 1/4 teaspoon of mugwort, 1/4 teaspoon of vervain, and 1/2 teaspoon of benzoin. And we'll crush that into a fine powder, and then we'll put it into 1/4 cup of coconut oil. So we'll melt the lard first, and then we put in the herbs, and then we mix it really well, and then add the coconut oil. Now when we make this recipe, it's important that you stir it clockwise. So this one you want to stir clockwise for about 5 minutes non-stop. So traditionally it's a 5-minute stir. Okay, but as you're stirring, you're meant to look into the center and watch the herbs form. Once you do that, pour it into a jar and let it sit and create, and it's good for years. These recipes, they'll never go rank. You could have your ointments in that jar. If you make a mason jar full, that baby will last 20 years. Okay, so now we are going to start with making our broomsticks. There is some chants and stuff that we're going to do once they're made. So you'll want to grab your broomstick, and before we begin, put your broomstick in your left hand. Whoops. The more I talk, the dizzier I get. Okay, so when we're holding our broomstick, I want you to just kind of focus on how it feels in your hand. And you don't really have to, try to feel anything like supernatural or weird, okay? Just hold it in your hand and pay attention to what is happening. Is the broomstick warming? Can you feel a frequency? Do you feel maybe a little vibration or a heartbeat? So if you're feeling it in your left hand, just kind of get to know what the stick feels like holding it in your hand. And you might not even feel anything. It's okay. Just try to take note on what that broom feels like in your hand. So when we do that, we are connecting with the wood and the power of the wood. When we hold things in our left hand, this wood, if you feel anything, if you feel warmth, a little bit of a vibration or a tickle, then it means that you're receiving medicine from this wood. So see if you can feel anything happening. And once you know what that feels like, put it in your right hand and focus on what it feels in your right hand. And see what you feel there. You feel a heartbeat, a frequency. When we hold the broomstick in our right hand, we are giving the broomstick our medicine. So one of your hands will be more powerful right now than the other. Okay? So once you feel that, we're going to share. So, for you, which hand do you feel was more powerful?
Heartbeat and warmth in the right.
Okay.
Vibration and warmth in the left.
Okay, so was one stronger than the other?
This is a stronger.
The right.
Instant. Boom.
Okay,
boom.
So that means that you're in a manifestation mode.
And I have been for a while.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I've been working on that.
So keep directing your energy.
Okay.
Okay. What about you?
My left.
Your left. So you're in a receiving mode.
Yeah.
So that means you have to focus on receiving the things that the universe wants to bring you. And it's never negative. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What about you?
Mine was my left.
Your left, so you're in a receiving mode. So when we're in a receiving mode, it's really the best thing is to just be as authentic as we can and, just be balanced. The more balanced and authentic we are in ourselves, the more we can receive. It's only when we start to go outside of ourselves, we start to block ourselves spiritually because we're no longer authentic. Okay? That's different when you're practicing spells. Then you can go for anything, right? But walking is on our planet, and walking on our pathway is our responsibility. And being as authentic as you can, you're honoring the universe in its natural state, your natural state. What about you?
In my right, it felt like a pull to the ground, and the left was like a heartbeat.
So which one would you feel was stronger? Because that's kind of tough to...
I feel like the heartbeat was a bit more gentle than the obvious pull.
Yeah, the obvious pull would let me know that you're more in a directive state. And it also lets me know that the Earth Mother just wanted to take whatever it is that you're directing energy for. So I would take that as she just took your hand and she's ready to help you. Yeah.
Mine's my left. More.
So you're in a receiving state. So when we're in a receiving state, like we just kind of flow. See what the universe wants to bring you.
I think I'm right.
You're right? So then that means directing. So that means whatever you want to get, start focusing on that. Do you feel the left one or the right?
In my left, I could feel my stick swinging
Awesome. It wants to fly.
2 or 3 times.
Wow.
And when
You want to trade?
to my right, it was just like steadfast.
Wow.
There was
Okay.
No movement. Like it was just.
So you're in a receiving mode. Universe wants to work with you, co-create, and just get you flying. So I would expect strong change. Not subtle, but good, strong flow. Yeah.
Right.
Your right hand, so that means you're meant to manifest right now and direct the energy you want. Yep.
Left.
Left for you, so you're in a receiving mode.
Throbbing.
So what is it that medicine wants to bring you? So just be aware.
Nothing in my left, and it was warm and a heartbeat in the right.
Wow. So directing and manifesting. And I like it's exciting when it's in your right hand because you know you can take that power and use it. They want you to use your power to work on the things that you want.
Right.
Right hand, so directing that power. Awesome. And Fritz, lots of manifesting power today, which the candles showed me inside. You would have noticed my candelabra. And what I do is when I light that, the first candle that goes down lets me know the power of the group, and it was the fire element. So people working on their passions in life and the things that are important to them right now. So it makes sense that there's a lot of right connection.
I'm not sure. I'm distracted, so.
That's okay. And you can do this anytime, right? And sometimes it's good to say, you know what, I don't know if I'm meant to be receiving things or focusing on stuff. You know, do the same thing I just showed you now. It will always give you that medicine and that knowledge. So I feel that you are in the receiving mode only because of that card you pulled. So it lets me know that there is a channel of receiving. Right hand, so yeah, use the broom and manifest something. So whatever it is that you're focusing on, there is that support and power behind you.
My left hand was vibration and warmth. My right hand is heavy.
Wow. So I'm going to say because you felt more spiritually, the left hand is the receiving. But you still have some directing energy, and it's probably because you have a lot in play, right?
Left was like ice cold, icy cold, and fast vibration, and right was not as cold and slow.
So then the left, the receiving mode, which makes sense with your card, and you said the last few years have been a good flow for you. So it's still there. Nice.
The left was like a vibration. I don't know if this makes sense, but the right was like light. I felt like light.
Nice. Yeah, mine did too. Like this one felt like heavier and even thicker to me. And then as soon as I went into this, it was like almost lighter and skinnier.
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
So which one would you say is more powerful for you?
The right felt more powerful.
Perfect. So then you're in a manifestation mode. Now, even though I'm saying that, we are always receiving energy and help. But this would represent what we can tap into. So now that I know, oh, it was my right hand, that's like the go card to, you know, get the magic and focus on those difficult things right now. You're not alone.
The left.
The left,
Yeah.
so receiving as well. The left, because we're also, if you feel anything in the left, you are receiving the medicine from the wood. So it also means that if your left is more powerful, there is a healing flow coming to you. The medicine of the broom felt that you need the energy it wants to give you. And that's why we're in a receiving mode. Left?
It was warm. The right was felt cold.
Beautiful. That's awesome. So you're in a receiving mode. Nice. What about yours?
Mine was both.
Okay.
Warm, and they're equally as warm. And here it was the heartbeat was beating. But in my right hand, I could feel the heart
So I'm going to say left. Because when you put it in your right and you're feeling that, that means that the right hand the wood has accepted your medicine. But because you felt it in your actual hand in the left, that would mean you're receiving.
Okay. I've been going back and forth because I can't. There feels both, but this one feels lighter and this
Get
one
out
feels
of your
more
logic.
jam. More
Come
jam.
up here.
I know. It's me.
Not allowed to think.
grounded with the right, lighter with the left.
Okay, so if it's left and it feels the lighter, yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah.
Because if that was more grounding for you,
Yeah.
then it would be the left. So you're in a receiving mode.
I like that one.
Okay. Well, you should like them both.
I like them
You
both.
can't like one over the other.
That's right.
Okay? Awesome. So that's one way you could connect with your brooms and also see what mode you're in. Because a lot of times if we're in a receiving mode, the one thing that will block it is if we over-sacrifice or we're doing too much. So when I'm in a receiving mode, I know to pull my mind and focus back and just enjoy the ride. Manifestation is coming. If it's my right, then I know, okay, I'm focusing on everything I want. I'm calling the babies in, right? Everything that I'm focused to receive. Okay, so you want to make to receive it. Okay, so now we've done that. We're going to pull our twine up. So you'll have a roll of twine. You'll want to know what side is your top and what side is your bottom. Now, if you were going to tie the grass on without any of this, it would all eventually slip off. When we start with this is now, we talked about the masculine energy. We're going to take the twine and we're going to do 3 rings on our broomstick. Okay? So the boys are going to help. One's going to go one way around the circle and one will go the other. But in a couple minutes. So take your bottom broom. We are going to have a group of string and you can wrap the string around. It can be 3 times, 10 times, whatever.
I did too. Me too.
So the first ring is going to be where you tie your broom from. You'll tie your broom on top of the first ring. So go higher up where you want your broom to go. So one sec. So say this is my broomstick. Brett's doing it higher up. This ring of string that's going on your broomstick will represent the maiden. And the maiden energy has to do with something new, something that we want to create. So as you're wrapping your broom right now, think about something new that you would like to receive this year. And the things that this thing that you want to receive, and it can be more than one thing, it can be a way of life, right? Is connecting you to your maiden power and the power of creation. Okay? The things that you want to create. So something new, it's got to be something, that you want spirit to co-create. Maybe if it has to do with maybe you have children. I will also tie a knot for what I want my child to have. So you can show them. So here's Brett. He's going to show you right now. It can be as simple as that. You can make it as thick as you want. No one's going to see this. Okay?
Yeah, it's under, you just tie it and wrap it, and you want to build up a bump.
So the grass is going to be tied above that.
So you want to tie it a little higher than this if you
Yeah,
want.
that's
So
perfect.
this much, and you want to just
If you finished that one,
the grass is going to go over to secure.
so put your intentions, what you want this year. all things that you don't have now for that first loop, okay? The second loop you're going to do, I know I'm showing you my broom, but imagine there's no grass on this.
I just wrapped it. Okay.
You'll move down a bit on the stick. The second group is going to represent the mother goddess and the things that we want her to help us with in our life now. So what is it that you want to nurture in your life? What is it that you want to grow right now?
Okay. And then kind of have it raised up a little bit.
Yeah, that's enough. You don't need too much. You'll kind of feel like you want to stop when you have enough. Scissors. Right, we need scissors.
Scissors? Yeah.
I don't mind sharing.
And then,
As long as I get them back.
any knot is good, but when you tie that knot, it's sealing the deal of what you want in that twine, okay? And then if you cut that, we're going to have to pass, yeah, Brett's going to look for more scissors.
So we don't cut.
Yeah, you'll want to cut that loop now. And then you start your second loop. The second loop represents the mother energy. So mother's energy is always in play.
Oh my Jesus! Look it.
Hello.
What is it?
It's a black spider with a red head.
Oh, crown energy around you. Is that grandma around you?
Oh, I
Don't let it bite you.
And so you said another one's on the way down?
Yeah, and we're going to do 3.
What's this one representing?
So the second one is the mother energy and the things that you want the goddess to help you with now.
Put them right here.
Yep.
And there's no judgment in what you want help with.
Mother. So this is maiden, mother. Oh, right.
Maiden's more like what we want to manifest.
Maiden is something new. Mother is what we want help with now in our life. And then the last one we're going to do, which is going to be more at the bottom of the stick, represents the crone and the things we want to get rid of. Things from the past. If you find it difficult to think about your intentions while you're doing this, that's okay.
So first one is maiden.
And what was the crown?
Growth of something we want.
Something new that you don't have. And
Yeah.
then the second one
But
is
what was
mother. So it represents what we're focusing on
Yeah,
now
no,
and what we
I
want
mean,
her to
maiden was
co-create
something
with us
new,
in our
mother
presence.
was something now
And then the
present.
last one is the crone, and those are the things that we want to get rid of.
Things we want to get rid
So that the broom is always protecting us against those things we want to get rid of. Okay?
Well,
Personal opinion here is every high.
Not at all. But, and then we're going to tie the grass. Where is the grass going to go for you? Yeah, so you'll still want the grass to be cover that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just covering, because that's probably usually.
That's perfect.
Tracy got the scissors?
I do. And the grass goes up just above the.
Yeah. So if we didn't do this and we just tied the grass on the post, it'd just slide off. So we put the power into it, and then we will, once we put our grass on, we'll tie right above it, and it helps hold it on so that the grass doesn't fall.
So we want these babies to hold up.
Once you have your 3 loops done, it's going to be time to string our grass.
Crone. And so for crone, this one is the one that we're going to release.
The thing, the ending things. Yep. No more of this, and keep that person away, and I no longer
she
want
knows
this.
me.
So things for the crone, things you want to come to an end. It could be health issues. It can be, you know, maybe your kid's personality that needs to change, and you know, an alignment, whatever. Anything you want, you're just done with, put into that. What I like to put in at the bottom is any debt. So so that I don't have debt by the end of next year. Anything you don't want.
Going for a long time. And then I got it confiscated in Cambodia. The little blue one.
If anyone needs help, let us know.
Oh no! Oh yes,
And
the
then
one that I gave you. Did I give you that?
left it with me or accidentally. But then we didn't see each other for so long.
Right. Yes, that's right.
And then I think you got another one, and I started carrying that around, and then I brought it with me on my trip, and then I got it as my purse, and I got it taken it from my
I feel like I didn't make enough room for the ball.
there, right?
You can put more on, but it should be fine. Oh yeah.
You know what? I totally
Some people you can do a loop for each person in your family, or add more knots.
so I also picked up
So the last one,
I'll be right back. So
Oh yeah, no problem.
what you want to get rid of?
get rid of debt, get rid of
Toronto.
Health issues, anything.
just don't want any negativity.
That's right, the no negativity, right? Protection against negativity.
Try to hit the teacher with the stick.
Oh my gosh, you would be in trouble. I'd grab my stick.
Broom wars.
Someone must have gone by and picked it up like right away. Like,
When I do this part,
oh, like,
yeah.
So I kind of thought it was amazing in a way. But I'm like, hopefully some child.
Yeah.
Oh
Enjoying it.
For some reason, their best life with that.
Yeah.
First it's a little
So
wild.
if you have finished your 3 loops, then we'll start tying our grass onto your broomstick.
I'm going in
I'm doing
circles.
2 of them, so.
Brett,
Above my bump, right?
This is what it's gonna look like.
here, why don't we show? When you take your group of grass, is it okay if I touch your grass?
Please do.
Okay. So when you do your broomstick, you go like this.
My head goes there too. Don't even worry about it. It's always in the gutter.
See how I opened it up just a little bit? Then you can put your broomstick into that. Okay, so that's whoops, sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're fine.
Perfect. So you put it into it, so you split it just a little bit, then you can cover it. Okay? So from that point, we're going to loop it and we start tying it where you want.
You'll know when you
Now once
when
you
you
do
hop on
the
it,
first
you'll know
loop,
why it
if you
happened.
find any bald spots, say a bald spot shows up, it doesn't matter. We can add another layer.
Can I do the wire first?
All twisted,
Or
right?
the twine?
But you could if you want.
Just to reinforce it?
Some people will tie it once with the wire,
Right.
but it, just to tie it tight. But I find that the rope works.
The rope works
good.
better too? Okay, perfect.
Now I'm gonna get the guys to show you the special loop knots.
Okay.
It's meant to be valid.
There's no real right or wrong to it.
That beautiful? I'm sad I'm covering it up.
Aw, you have to though.
You couldn't set the top.
Well, you'll know it's there.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
It's meant to be that way.
The top, but look at the top.
Yeah, the
curve,
top is so.
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
She's just in there.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm just putting a skirt
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Right, it is a polite thing to do instead of like constantly touching.
Peek in there at it every now and
Well,
then.
not yet.
Yeah.
Brett, we need you to show them.
Oh yes, the loop knot.
Great.
Okay, so the next step will be placing the grass where you'd like on it. If anybody needs stick trimming, I do have a saw, so we can do that if that's needed. And
Dad will help with the loop knots
I can
too.
help tie it, but to do just a slip knot, you just make a little circle like that, and then you go through, and it's one bunny ear, and then you let it slide.
And then you can slip that over your broomstick. So I would slip it up this
And then
way,
you want to make a big
grab
loop.
it, and then tighten it up.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
And
that
that'll be
because
your
this was
first
cake.
slide on it.
That's long at the end. That makes much
And
more
I'll
sense.
do that a couple of times, just to show everybody. So you just do one loop, and then you just wrap it through one thing. It's like one bunny ear, and that's it.
And then that goes over the
And
top
then
of
you
our
just
stick.
hide it.
That goes up, and then
I
it'll go.
can
You're
tie it
okay
for
now
you
because
as
you
well.
have that.
How was
You
that
don't have to
tying
do
on?
it.
Questions?
You're good. Just keep
Just keep it rolling.
Put it on the broom.
So, well,
So that's what you can do.
Now, if you
mine
want to do it this way, it's just a way for them to.
It's super tight, isn't it?
You don't have to do the loop knot.
So make it magical.
That's right.
so I'll do another one here.
No, oh my gosh, no.
Now, when you're stringing your broom on, you can do it any way you want. Okay, so if you look at this one, I've got the 3 loops, right? 3 different sections. On this one, I went heavy,
Yeah.
right?
So anywhere.
So however you string it is your own creation right now.
I still
But you have to remember this part that you're stringing is like your saddle, right? So you want to make sure it's comfortable.
Comfortable bump.
Okay, some people will do 2 and it kind of bubbles and it's nice and crispy.
What the hell did he say to make that?
The loop knot?
Yes.
He said he had a saw somewhere. We're gonna try
I did
to
that.
cut
Okay,
off.
yeah.
Should have friggin'. Or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
have those guard shear things that'll snap it right off. Not the ones you cut the grass
Oh,
with, but
okay.
yeah.
Wrap it instead of even after you wrap it, you can do it straight. And sometimes you can wrap it with a. You can either wrap it with a
Make the loop.
string or cut it straight. Whichever one you like. But yeah, we'll clean that up after. So that doesn't have to
Pull
be
the
perfect
bunny
now.
ears.
You need a saw. We're gonna chop it
Yeah.
a little bit.
I've got a flower saw. It's like
Yeah, do that.
I was trying to pull the bunny ears.
Now, don't worry about putting all of these straight. We cut this in the end, so you could have it a little bit of a 70s bush mess going on there. Okay? So, we'll chop this top part later, okay? The slip knot?
So you make your knot first and then after you wrap it.
Why did that not work?
Yeah, when you're. No, I don't.
Tasha can do it perfectly, just so you know.
Tasha, you did?
Yep.
Okay.
No, now you
Because I did it, it didn't
You're
work.
welcome.
Should have just tied the knot slower.
Yeah, no, this is perfect. You wait and see. It's going to be exactly what you want. Hey, that's a good idea.
Yes,
Ah.
it needs to be held. It's too big for me to maneuver on it.
I will help.
Nice job. Nice and all the way around.
I was hoping, yeah,
So you
that's.
got a okay, nice golden in there. That's cool. Oh, you're going strong here too. Yeah,
Thank you. That's what I need, a finger.
definitely.
Yeah, that is totally.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
Perfect.
like that first time tying, it's like impossible.
Yeah, you want it nice and tight so it's
it smells good.
Alright, here's that drill.
No, I like that, like that.
Like, I don't think so. Let's see. Because there's my initial right here. Here's my initial. So, let's pull it up.
You know what? I think when I get home, I'm gonna tie some acorns to my broom.
It's so funny that she just said that. We just collected acorns and put them in Rhea's window. Her window is like her altar for scary things just tied around it.
That's my biscuit.
So,
Yeah, I
then
thought that was cool.
like, I'm gonna get some acorns.
But yeah, I like it like that. You could even, is it even? My big one? Yeah. Okay. But that way. Yeah, you want a little bit of width. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think I need to cut this off some because sure, yeah. Right there on the step.
How big are you?
Yeah, he'll help you.
Well, I can do it, that's not the issue.
He's over here.
He's crouching.
Oh. Are you sure you can do that?
There.
Never had one myself.
See, but I can't finish this tie. What the heck did I do?
Is that you ordering?
Oh, Brett.
It's on there. Can you start wrapping it?
Well, it's like it's tie off.
Oh, right.
There's my first string right here.
How did you tie it? Mine literally will not tie it.
Okay.
It wanted to be tied right there.
Now, if you're tying and some of it separates, it's easy to just shift and move, or you can add more.
Does anybody need a
Thank you for the offer of your finger, but I'm good.
Does anyone slip knots?
Josh, you need the slip knot.
I'm losing all this.
Okay.
Take that.
Put it this way. And
No, you're good.
So do we know if it's over? We don't know.
well, it's like me thinking I should know how to guess it or not.
First, yeah. No, the first rope loop on the inside is like here, but it doesn't matter if it's below or it's not. Okay.
Anybody else need
Yes.
I need a slip knot over here, my dear.
Oh, I something I've counted.
Oh, okay.
You.
Perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. Anybody else need a knot?
Your way?
I might. My last one didn't work. This one might decide to not work. Let me see if it'll slip first.
Okay. Let me know if anyone needs a knot.
See how we do this time. Do we put the next one between maiden and mother, or between mother and crone?
I just kind of put mine up the shaft a bit.
Oh, and we trim this down?
Because you know how you can have as many things as you want.
The knot?
So I just put two.
You want mine? I have it.
Oh, I'm so far behind you.
Scissors are right here.
What do you think?
I said the aftermarket is how you normalize it. I can't do this. And go all the way through there. It's ridiculous.
Mine will slip.
I don't even have a stupid slip knot anymore. It fell off.
No, it doesn't make sense. It was just like a circle.
I don't even know where it is anymore. Right.
Every time I do it,
Go around again. It's just one of those things.
So you just kind of tighten it as much as you can each time.
And there is
Okay, here. So you get your bells and your acorns and your whistles.
Trying to put it all together, actually.
One knot in.
So now you gotta stand her up and then I'll just do that. Slide it out.
powerful. Holding the two. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Oh, that's not.
Off the other little one, that's where we go.
Just where we go.
I wonder if I take
Now we just start wrapping it.
There we go. Yeah.
But I'm gonna look at it.
And then you can wrap it.
Yeah, now you've got it stabilized.
Same, but at least you're secure.
How you doing,
Yeah.
Sam?
So like the first, there you go.
Yeah, that's the fast one that way.
Where you want it?
This one's brand new.
You can tighten it as you lay down.
I know that's.
Yeah, right here. But I think just when we're standing it keeps going in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, and then you just lay it there like that, and if you let it dry like that, then
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to
Okay.
wrap those ones around, I think.
Oh, you're making up.
Well, probably not very good.
You're doing good now. There. Now you tighten it.
It's right there.
That's pretty good knot, eh?
All right.
And then I went around this way. There you go.
How you feeling about your birthday?
Not very strong.
Thank you.
but we only have to make one.
Three. And now, even though you started, if you did want to add more, you can add more and then we can look around it.
Okay, see how your thing has a little bend on the end.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we have to put in 3 times around this ring?
Oh no, you can do anything
Okay,
you want.
good, because I'm like, I'm going
However
all
you
the way
want
up.
it to look.
Oh, you want a nice long big one?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, yeah.
And see how you have yours wrapped here? What we'll do in the end is we will actually probably do a light ponytail, just so that you can shape it, and then once it's done, I go down and dry off. Okay.
Right here.
Put it in.
Yeah.
Three of these.
No.
No.
Come on over, girl.
On top, you can do anything you want. Beautiful.
Simple and I love how this. Yeah, I know. It's a great. This is a great vine. It's a great stick.
Yeah.
I like it all. Helter skelter like that too.
Perfect.
So now when you stand it up,
You go like this.
yes. Now if you wanted to, you could tie it in the end, just lightly, and it will hold that position once it dries in a week. And then you take it off.
Okay.
Or if you want to keep it bushy.
But now, so the bend is here.
You can. It's just that every time it goes. I think if yours is good. So what I'm saying with you is that when you stand it up, you can just kind of tie it. Put it, say you have it like that, and you want a little bit of a, you know, how that looks good. Some people even twist it a bit.
So it'll lie like that?
Yeah, and then after you take it out, you can trim it how you want to.
I'll put the ponytail in it now.
Yeah.
Got it?
Oh, thank you.
So if you're doing this and no thoughts are coming into your mind about life, then you are connecting with that broom. Woo! Nice.
Maybe here. Like a good space there.
Perfect.
When I get home, I'll put it in the corner and position it. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Strength subs are bare.
Oh my.
This is right here.
That's a fire sign coming out.
What do you need? Oh, I see.
Dry like that and stay together. I would do it right here.
No, I like it like that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. You trim away and yeah, you want it tight there. Perfect. Preliminary instructions. Yes, I can't stand up. No, no problem. Oh, that's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, I guess you did. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I haven't done it. I haven't done the last one yet.
Yeah, goodness, but I have to be again every time.
At the end.
I just hit you in the face.
I know, right?
Like real thin, rid of all the fat.
Bring that Broom around like she was.
Oh, add more. I know.
Well, better now than on the way home.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Well, isn't that the truth? Whoa, knock me up there or what?
I wouldn't even put it in, just put it on top and then we'll string around it. Yeah. Yeah, I just decided there. And then just start retying around that.
The one that you slide over. My second one, I didn't do it. I just ran over. Doing that again.
All right.
Like I gave you some love.
Okay. Keep it. Keep opening it up. Until it's big enough. Okay. I can go up and do it.
Or you can cut it and tie it. Some try it and tie it.
So you make it out over here.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. That's okay.
I would leave this eye. This eye here. Well, that's what I thought. If it's not, it's around it. Like, great. But I thought, okay, it was meant to be that. It's like,
That's pretty cool. What's your vision on it now at this point? Because it could be finished if you like. Or you could add.
Could I do it again because I'm adding this back?
I wouldn't. Nope, I just use what you keep wrapping it around.
Yeah.
It could be done if you want to be for sure. Because it's red and polished, right? So everybody's just with it. But
No, that's
and then
Yeah,
we'll do one
because
more thing when we're done.
I lost a lot too.
I did it a bit unevenly.
And highlight it. Okay, so I want to do it on our top.
And this is kind of, it's hard to make it even all around because it's not out of bend in it. So I'm trying to hide that a little bit.
Okay, so then there's a couple of them. Now, what is your front?
When you're tightening your
I would go right here. One of this, and go right above that. And then it will hold all of them.
Good job.
Yeah, and then.
How is this one going here?
You're all right.
Where are you behind
He's a
there?
little frazzled, but.
Do I have to do the same knot?
Oh no.
It's already secure. You can do it.
Okay.
You can start.
Trying not to hit everybody's broom.
Okay, thanks, because I thought that top one was inflated.
Got it all right.
Are you trying a second?
I'm going to do
Is it
like
okay?
another wrap around. Yeah.
So I wonderful.
Sure, show me.
Is it good?
Yeah, because I guess it's a bit uneven here, so she said to just add some. Make the shot quite the same. Take over here. Can you reach it from underneath and try to shove it out?
and see if you want to make any
That's the first time I did that.
The inside of the room, but I'm going to stuff it further on there.
Oh, that looks great. Oh, you've already got it. Look at you. Oh, yeah, that was awesome.
I know, I like this. They don't
Yeah, it's got the one knife.
Because I'm a Libra, I'm that way.
Yeah, I like that big sprout.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then see the same way, that way she found the natural.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they like balance.
Yeah. You'll see where it sits, and then you can tie
It's
it.
just the natural curve of it.
I can tie it right there.
That ended up being
Yeah.
That's what happened to mine too. And once you kind of get it on there and get, then they and have it tight, it kind of.
Oh, sorry, did I just hit you?
cooperates with the back. With the second tie.
You don't need that eye.
It was like a
kind of like
Oh, pretty. Yeah. Love it.
It's like a.
Looks like, love it. Oh my gosh, who's the one with the hair? Did you wear it like that cartoon?
nice fits here.
Nice remote witch. The Broom from Oh, nice stick too.
I know, it's a grapevine.
Oh.
That's a beautiful stick.
Wow.
That's where they were, but now they're at Hampton. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can I use scissors?
You could if you want. You don't have to.
And then, I think I might go over
Tie, you should tie off now.
Awesome.
Oh, did you already have it?
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So then you'll see how
Keep wrapping.
you can, once you stand it up, you can kind of take the point and just put a light,
I love that.
if you want to tighten it up like that.
Sounds like a back.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Oh, yeah, I love that.
I definitely will get flight.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I can trace them.
And I only decided that because
I like
off of all of these ties, I want to hang off all dangly bits.
Yeah.
What? I thought I got it out, but I was. Oh, you know what? That's
All right, now I need this.
Incredible. Look at it. And now I take this one and tie this one. Right? So tie them off.
Wow. And then
Beautiful wrapping, Melanie.
So how long are they on the bus for to go to Hampton?
It's not like a special knot, it's just your.
And we're like on the
Do you have these hooked on here, like they're?
Oh no, they're just hanging. They'll fall over. You can add stones to your broomsticks and whatever you want. Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yep. So I have a 5 Oh, good. Awesome. Yeah. Not so much Beth and mom.
Yeah, I'm probably going
Wife,
to,
but Beth is Beth. Have you met Kathy and Mark yet? Oh. She's talking. Yeah. Well, that's what I told my mother too. That's what that means.
oh, okay, yeah.
Because I already did that. Yep, exactly. Yep.
What's the matter?
Oh, very cool. Yes, love her. And then she met her when her mom was
Should they just trim it around here?
Don't worry about
I tried to play her since I showed up too, and I thought, geez, dude.
I want to so bad.
Yeah.
We're going to do it when we get back.
You wanna what?
Sometimes for a 4-day vacation.
Where are you going?
You would've got me back, right?
The furthest he's been is Moncton. So.
Yeah. I want to tie things on and probably actually I'll put them after.
Beauty.
I love it. Yeah. Our turkey dinner.
We need to figure out, like, maybe do it at night. As I say, we need to like go in the group tonight or tomorrow, or whatever, and be like, okay, when? But we need to make sure that it works for you because you have classes on certain days, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to figure out a date that you would be available, and then we'll just say this is the date.
I don't want mine.
My house is there regardless of what day it is.
I ended up liking how
Yeah,
good
the only
power.
thing is where you go.
I still have some, but a lot of it works.
I don't have another workshop until the 20th.
Like not close to November.
Yeah.
I have one on the 8th, but it's a Friday night. Or we can do Friday. We can do any night. But I just think
On
like
the 30th, I'm doing Jess's hand balancing. 31st.
I would love you, Trashy.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll make a date for it. Whoever wants to come can.
I really want to do that and do like what we need to cook with and what we're gonna make and how
Yeah, we'll
maybe
do a
we'll just naturally
kitchen.
do it like that.
We'll do a cooking with herbs class. And make our dinner.
we'll have my Brooms hanging there. Late dinner.
We'll have to make a special dessert to take home for the husbands, a special husband.
Well, mine will be banished to the
Ones
other,
that you don't want
other
to
area
eat.
of the house.
Ones that you don't want to eat.
Oh yeah.
Or he'll be boss.
Yeah.
But the slip knot is
Yeah, I'll probably
great.
stay Weren't you in the boys'
Not
house?
falling and bleeding.
Or I can just close
On the
the
other
sliding
side,
doors
it's
and
not.
they
Yeah.
can be off.
Yeah, the carriages are around. They'll be fine.
Oh, my kids are to the age now where they're just around. They're not like, Mom, Mom, Mom. Mind you, they might be like,
Yeah, they would lead with their nose. Can I go to the car? How far is this?
no.
No, you can. I did all the way around. You can go to your car. You're good. I went to that house.
Okay, we're good. I don't think we're that far. Whoa, almost got too much.
Sorry,
So
but
put
watch
the jet
that room.
engine.
They're looking awesome. So if you ever want to add to them or add crystals or hang things on it, you can do that. You can do anything you want to your broom.
I left
3 times the charm.
They also like to have a name. So your name may come to your broom.
Griselda.
Mine's Ebony.
Don't name your broom after me. I'll be pissed. Someone's sweeping with my name. So Georgina's not allowed.
To add to my broom. Nice. I have a piece of your hair to add to my broom.
I knew it.
She could say she needs a lot more, Catherine.
It can be either. Whatever looks better.
Okay.
I keep mine inside.
Yeah,
I'll be better. We got lots of wind and stuff, and
Just has to be complicated.
sometimes, a lot of times I'll have one out.
Oh, there are.
Oh, I just gotta chill.
And if you make your broom,
Yeah.
you say that like if ever you make a new one, you gift away the old one.
If you, I do your doors first,
Keep it down.
and then if you both of your doors have one and you want to make a new room for the next year, which is, traditional, then you would give them.
Okay, no, we're not gonna break it.
There.
If you don't want to, you don't. You can just use it as a.
Why are the ends tied?
It still has power to it.
Why are the ends tied?
Oh, so that they will take that shape as they dry.
When it dries,
So if you stand it up now, you'll see how it bends. Yeah, so some people will take this end and then just kind of give it that, that
Okay,
Harry
yeah.
Potter look.
Yeah.
And then you
My
take it
jeez,
up
that's a
your
nice broom.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing.
It's so nice. And look, it's tall like you. Well, girl, you got a big load to carry, Oh, so pretty.
So if your broom has any of these,
Yeah.
they're seeds for the actual grass. So you can take them off and plant them, and they'll grow. You'll get grass.
I like how yours has that grass in the middle. Me too. I was hoping as he was cutting it that I would.
If you agree.
I'm getting into her now.
Yours looks sweet.
Oh, Kathy got seeds.
Let's see which way this one is going already.
Thank you, madam.
Whack her with a broom while you're at it, telling her that.
That might be a two-person one on
I know, right? Don't pick me up.
Yeah.
I'm yawning, man. Must be the fresh air. I did all morning.
I'm gonna grab the stuff for the potluck, and then once you're done, once everyone's done, we'll do the activation of them, and then we'll eat and stuff. Okay?
Why'd you do tie it?
Just so she can shape it once it's sitting.
So, how would you?
So once you stand it up, you'll
Back
see the
way
curve.
along the St. John River, and you would kind of like
Just kind of tie it like this,
hang a
and then
left
let it
go
dry that way.
over the what's that ferry?
Okay.
And then yeah, you'd be over. And it's like
That's how I got my little curve on there.
yeah,
And that's only going to be one time I
it's
go to
like that kind of like side of the river. Yeah, it really is.
I know what you're saying.
Like Hampton end of it.
Okay, because you look familiar.
well, it was on the news.
But yeah, St. John used to, and you know that would be a city.
Light enough that it hold it and dry that way.
For sure.
Because that's just
Right. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to, when they're all done, we'll set them up and everybody can
awesome. Look at that. Okay. Excited? Yeah. Okay, let me grab the stuff.
We'll be here till tomorrow. She's beautiful.
Oh, great.
Couldn't I love her?
All right.
Yeah, yours is.
I like the wood.
Yeah, it's like the death rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
I've got a glimpse of it.
Oh yeah, no, you can, there, you can always add trim.
I left a little bit of extra rope so I can tie them in.
Yeah, for sure.
That one's looking really good. Well, this one's quite cold, and we can always do another round.
I'm gonna do like one more here, but should I redo that? Pretty loose. Perfect. Would that be easier? Yeah. So like doing another slip knot and then.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, once you get to the first or second time,
Oh, me too. Mine too. We're eating our turkey,
I like
so
the purple.
I get worse, more yawning, more tired from the store bought. So our own turkey.
Yeah, this one feels very good. So we can use like seagrass, you can use straw. And Broom is from out west?
yeah.
Is it kind of
There's lots of room out to BC. Usually on the sides of highways.
Now, can I smuggle this across the border? I'm gonna go up to the border.
I'm gonna keep this because I'm gonna tie these up.
Yeah, for sure. So you don't
Going to Florida.
I drink wine.
It's going the wrong way. It's going the wrong way. Oh my God. I'm a snowbird. I go to Florida for the winter. So I'm trying to figure out, am I going to smuggle this in my car?
Would they let you take that across the border?
No.
Because it's grass and such.
Yeah. And wood.
Yeah, on wood too, yeah. They probably think it was something else. Bugs.
Well, no, there could be bugs in, you know, whatever.
Okay.
I understand the reason.
And then this one here, we're gonna.
I'll just
You
leave
still want to take it, somebody mail it to you?
I have a lot of American friends that'll bring it over for me. Because, I mean, they'll just say, oh, well, it was in the car when I come over.
Well, you have the knowledge now to make another one over.
Well, yeah, we're gonna make some in Florida. Pretty simple.
Pretty damn nice broom.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Have a quick cut.
Well, what are you cutting?
It's actually. These for a little.
Oh,
I've been to
it's got little swirls. I love it. I'm gonna put some crystals down. Yeah.
That's not for this, is it? No.
All right.
Check out my snake eyes. Oh, baby. Turbo. I felt the vibrations in this baby.
Whoa. Hello.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is often, I hear.
Yeah. I had to stop by a jacket and winter clothes last year in August, end of August. I left here in the heat wave with the sundress and shorts and showed up there and almost froze to death.
Oh my god. I've been having no sugar in my coffee.
I'm gonna have to put one of the seeds in over in the sugar. My girlfriend, she has everything she owns in her.
Which I think tomorrow I might just use you know what? I am usually those 40 of those
So everything she
my mother, she makes her own
She has 3 vehicles.
I used to make.
Everything she owns is in her car.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, this flew down.
Yeah.
Car?
Yeah, it was.
So Brett and I just put it on yesterday morning. We have people coming.
I used to make St. Cyr, and I used to do it with like organic. Okay. So to do that, yeah.
Alright.
I love that. I've tried to order them like multiple times, and every time I try, they're sold. Right now? Georgina? Yeah. Oh, I have any left.
Yeah, I've been trying to
get one. Yeah, I just used to make a simple syrup. And then you slowly like can taper down how much you. Or if you're all right with eating like that artificial sweetener.
Oh yeah, right.
Right. No. But if it's like sucralose or whatever, you can.
I know, like you got a little bit of like a little allergy.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
I'm thinking of it. I'm gonna get a little something to eat.
Yeah, because you weren't feeling well. Yeah, I had surgery. It's taken me forever. Yeah, if it's abdominal, it does. And you don't realize how many freaking muscles you use every time you move with the abdominal. Yeah.
Like that.
Does it still hurt quite a bit? It's a little sore now. I did a bunch of bending over today, which I never really thought of. Okay, yeah. It's not terrible, but it's tender. Yeah. A little swelly, I think. I know Pat, my sister there, she had quite a number of years ago, and it was just horrendous. The bruising from here to here, and it was such a long friggin' procedure. And then she had to have like casting to lean or not around her, because I don't think they did a compression thing for probably not. You know, and what do they say? Hers was so many years ago that her abdominals, but
So I have a plate with avocado.
since into the mind from getting COVID, and I just couldn't move.
The first time I sneezed after, like, honestly, like, there was a moment I wished I could just die. It was the most horrible feeling I ever had in my life.
And then sometimes it'll cause a spasm in your body and freaking, and then it's just like, oh my, that had happened to me, and I never think about it in my life, and they gave it to me just to relax things.
I like
You know now, but how
Yeah.
long has it been?
It's been 8 weeks, but on the 3rd week, I got like food poisoning.
Oh my god.
And I was so I think it like literally set me back almost to the start.
If you want some
So I'm
food
feeling
and you're done,
better,
you can go in and dish up.
Still a bit of a road, I'm sure. Yeah,
The other thing is you'll see in there, there's a little plate with a couple avocado pits. We're going to use that as the offering. So every person just put a little piece of food on the plate so that we can give it to the land after. Okay?
You're white. You know,
And
you're just
enjoy.
full of energy and everything.
So I said, like, I went to bed last night at 6:30. I'm like, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, this will be my first day in a while. I said, Sis, that I may sleep on the way home. I got a pillow and a blanket.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, and it'll help your stamina build up a little bit. But
Yeah, exactly.
you didn't have to miss it.
Yeah. The bracelets. Yeah. There we go.
Woo! I almost did the same thing.
I know, right? You don't have to cheese all over the place.
What did you say you were? Mine's Chevy.
Maybe should I do one more? Do you think?
Mine is Chevy.
Yeah.
I know, right? So bad. I love them. And we go by the Irving and it's like lunchtime and he's like, hey, those are just grab some for
Right. I don't want to.
No, I think
I know, it's gorgeous.
here. I know, I'm like, I'm gonna have to get this late because I can't do my dessert and food on Sorry, I wish I could. Wish I could, but I
So here's my go.
actually no.
Yeah. And his father made these, and they were canes. His father made Abby's this one too, and so
Right?
yeah, his father made them, or like found them, dried them, and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm one of those.
Feeding. Yeah.
Already done.
Right. Yeah.
Really good, right?
Yeah.
So, but anything if you find what you want
Yeah.
to eat, you definitely try that. Second one, whatever you want.
It's not to the end of the tree, but it might be.
It's very pretty here.
Now?
And if you have that,
Yeah.
exactly how you want,
I drank Frank.
then you can see if you want to do it or not. But it's really nice. You've got a nice
Yeah.
Literally, that is what I
Yeah.
do.
Everyone's almost done?
You set it up
Nice.
of how it's going to stand. Quite slow.
It's like a summer day. Wow.
Yes. No, we're gonna go for like I worked for.
Oh, where across like here?
Grand Prairie. Actually, the school there in Grand Prairie. We were in Cameron's.
Cheesecake! I'm going there. Guys, can we leave so we can go out now and get it? Hurry up! Why are we still standing still? We need to get there.
But you do that after it dries out.
We gotta line all the rooms up in the front of the house.
Yeah, we'll do it at the front.
There's no way we'll get a good line of them anywhere out here.
One's for dessert.
So you just get a visit?
So I want to do it after we do the invocation for them.
Okay, so we'll just keep this going and do this. Good.
I'm on my second row. That's fine. Not even a little. I don't know, but
Oh, look at my smudge shell already. Spider web.
When you were talking, there were spiders flying by with like little parachutes. And I was like,
Really?
no, I was laughing.
No?
I only want one.
Crazy in there.
Is it? Yeah, I ain't going in there.
They're crazy in there.
Awesome.
Lots of good stuff. She's getting ready to take flight.
Okay, so I got a plate full of dessert.
Yes, it's good.
All right. There is a cheesecake in there. I never should have taken the pumpkin pie.
Hey,
But
why?
I have zero guilt.
I'll be going back.
I will share my
There wasn't enough room on this
cheesecake
plate
with you.
I know.
See,
I was
I
like,
can't-
these little plates.
It wouldn't have mattered for me because I can't put my dessert on my food plate.
These plates are like from forever ago. I can't seem to get rid of them.
Really?
I hate them too.
Keep going and going.
I know. Every time I unpack a box, there's more. And it's like,
We
oh
did
my
that. We bought some like last year or the year before for Raya's birthday, and used them the next year for her birthday, and used them like frequently.
Yep, buddy.
Like if we had like too many groceries or too many dishes in the sink already, we'd be like, "Wah, pull out the plastic plates."
Yeah.
But it took us forever to get through them.
I went to.
Oh my God, there's spinach.
If I ran out of anything, let me know.
I did everything in the middle.
That's okay if it's out.
Yeah, it's warm.
Perfect.
And even
My
kids
girlfriend's doing the keto diet too. She loves it. Same thing. Yeah. Well, you know, I've been doing it since it'll be a year and a half now. But I've gone off the wagon, but I've still went.
How much does she work there?
Yeah. And now I'm only at like 145, so
Yeah.
I've only put a little bit back on for falling off
I
the
might just
wagon.
try that,
Oh, I like that.
It's very much worth
What
it.
is that
I don't
called?
have like,
Stone.
I mean,
It's a lot of food prep, which I wasn't
Oh,
used to.
polite.
Yeah.
Yes, that was cool.
Ask
and
the
it-
stone
I
lady.
used to get that, you know, because I wasn't a big, slicing and dicing
I'm not either.
But that took a lot of getting used to.
I'm
It's
straight up and I won't even know.
Our staples are almond flour,
When the wind
flour, olive oil, eggs,
you know,
like that. like,
you know what? Let people know if their hair is taken
my
care
God,
of,
it's
right?
just amazing. We've got a
I'll get home and I'll be like, you know, my hair's like.
pretty much in everything. Like I make
like, you
gravies
can't
with
say
hay
that happened to you
and with
the other
sour
day.
cream and
Right,
You
I'm
can't tell me that, you
they're
know,
like
notice
sort of
it?
mix,
Wings going
but,
on.
you know what?
Like, did you not notice I had this on my face or this in my teeth?
It's always the sugar and friggin' and you just have more energy. You're like, well, this is research it online, like you'll see it is an amazing friggin' way of
I'm like,
eating.
girlfriends don't let people do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, so we've got about 4 of us.
And you don't think it's hard prep, like
I am the girl
you're
who
not like
will
that,
say,
you don't like
don't
that
do
prepping.
that.
I don't, but
I'm not
I've
trying to scare your
been, like I said, I mean, there are instant things you can find now, and Simply for Life has got a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
But so if you need
Do you have
something
any
quick,
twine
but
left?
you
You
do
can
have to
take
slice
it
and
with
dice,
you if
and
you
I
want.
just, you just get used to it is all. And it
Or
doesn't
I
seem
have a
like all
bag
the
you
time.
can throw them in.
Yeah. And it, when you're retired now, well, that's what Connie does. She does all her cooking.
Alright. Gonna put in a garbage bag.
Perfect.
Out.
No, but the homemade
And then I got more plates.
homemade cheesecake. So she uses the
Maybe
Instant
put-
Pot a lot.
yeah.
My boss does.
Oh, put it out there?
Dr. Clarkson. She started me on it. Like she's been on it for about 4 years.
Who brought the cheese
But
bread?
the Instant Pot, you can make cheesecakes in it, and they're so quick. It's
I
a
would
pressure
love a-
cooker,
are you on
basically, and
Georgie's
everything is
page?
amazing. You will love it.
You two are the only people I know.
Look it up.
There's only something.
Just do some research
I would love
and you will
a
see.
recipe
Dr.
for
Diet
cheese
is
bread.
he's not a doctor,
I
but
know.
Dr. Diet is a good site to go to for beginners, and he gives you all the lowdown.
Oh,
And you can still drink. I do
What
all
is
my
your name?
fucking red wine,
Marie.
believe me, but you
Sorry,
try to get
Marie?
the drier reds.
I'll find you on the
And
page and ask.
vodka with Sevia or whatever, like it's all you can still drink.
Woohoo, girl! I'm googling when I get home.
Wow.
Oh my god, I'm gonna. Your desserts are
Good.
delicious.
Whatever.
I love you.
So one thing I like to check after I make my broom is if you touch your skin and just go like this and see if there's like almost like a stickiness, that's your psychic energy coming out of your body. So if you go like this with your hands right now and it feels sticky, then you know you are tapping into your magical self. Do you feel it?
Oh yeah, I'm sticky.
Yeah, that's your psychic energy. It's called, Ghostbusters Slimer, right? Ectoplasma.
Yeah,
That's our ectoplasma.
Went for breakfast this morning, and I was telling her, yeah, I'm going to go to the workshop.
It's not sweat,
Yeah,
but it's kind of like sweat because it does come out of your pores when you're working.
What?
in that
Really?
yeah, I was like, yeah.
The same will happen when you're doing a cleanse for someone's house. At the end of it, you just kind of feel that stickiness and you just go, oh, that was pretty psychic.
Bug her along.
That's hilarious.
Here's some chips.
You just like hang on to her for all these years. I was like, I'm there.
That is funny.
Yeah, it did. It's nice out, eh?
And the right. She goes, I'm trying to
Yeah, it's rising a little bit, I guess.
the one who had a correct
It's actually about 6 hours and 13 minutes. Yeah.
Is this for me?
Yeah, if that's all right.
Well, how long has it been there?
Just a minute or two.
Oh,
All right,
know,
maybe
just
I'll
yesterday.
put the garbage bag in the TV.
Nice.
And they're good ones for Mitchell to have. So I was like, oh, get those.
So which group?
Because I
Which
like
group
the
had the best potluck, Georgina?
I'm gonna try it.
I can't. They're both amazing.
I can't wait to dig into this dinosaur bone.
It's good.
It is?
I ate my bone.
Why did you put out your shoe?
I've never had bones.
So when you're making your brooms in the future, and say you're cutting your twine, we usually take the extract stuff, like all this stuff will end up going into the cauldron and we light it. So if you cut your twine, we'll throw it in the cauldron and then we light it at the end. And then that soot we will
Oh, yeah,
put
I might
into
have to
our
share
broom
with you, but
flying
it's totally
recipe
cool
if
with
we
that.
want.
Nice. Sorry, I interrupted.
I'm gonna grab the broom.
Where's your garbage can?
Right here. Oh.
Oh, you took it inside.
Oh, okay.
Inside?
Yeah, that's sometimes like a reaction.
Yeah. You're like, oh, different.
done eating, you'll want to grab just a little bit and put it in. We'll light that up.
There's some of these blue chips I found in there too. You can try.
Yeah, Tony said she brought them for me because they're no sugar.
The blue one.
Mm.
Yeah, you brought me a big handful. You don't have to just use grass. Some people are gardeners. Someone brought me a whole bunch of oregano, and because it's nice and big, I could actually make a room with it.
That would be beautiful. Oh, yummy. Yeah.
So if you have any type of plants that are growing nice and big, you can look up the spiritual correspondences and see if that's something you want in your home, gardening it or bringing that energy in. You can also make small brooms. When we make altar brooms, they can be like little, and we make them the same way. They're just smaller, so you can use different herbs for that as well. She brought me like 5 bags of that. Wow. I've been stripping them for weeks. 3 weeks, and I've had help doing it every time.
Is there a garbage somewhere?
Yes, I put one in the teepee.
The oregano.
Yeah, garbage
You
bag.
can use any
I should
type
probably
of
give one out
herb,
here
so
too.
even if you have any bush or anything you want to use, like the rose bushes here, I could use some of those to make. So use the herbs you want, and when you're making small altar brooms, or ones that you want to hang in your kitchen, some people will put them in the wall, we'll make the brooms the same way we did today. They're just smaller in size. Oh my god.
You didn't place herbs in your broomstick?
Oh yeah. You can add different herbs to your broomstick as well if you want. So maybe you want to add something to it. You're on a walk, you find, some kind of herb or flower, you can tuck it into your broomstick or broom stuff as well. Yep. So once we're finished eating, we'll grab our brooms. We're going to activate them, and then what we'll do is we'll just line them up in the front of the house if you want to take pictures of them standing there, and then we are done. Oh,
My husband must be ignoring me.
why?
Oh, he's not replied.
Maybe they're outside. It's gorgeous out.
He's kid free. He's gone somewhere.
Oh, really?
Okay, smarten up. I'm diabetic. Stop telling me about all that good stuff.
I'm diabetic too. I don't take anything though. I just watch what I do.
We made a cheesecake last year that you would have been able to eat. It was delicious. It was cashew crust with really dates.
Yeah.
And that was the bottom. And then the middle was made with avocado. Right? And then lime. More cashew.
For me, if I eat any carbs, I have to match it with
With a protein. So does Mitchell.
Yeah, and then I won't have so much of a reaction.
And if he doesn't,
But see, I can't take medicine. If I take a medicine, I'm not truly available to heal. I'm on a healing journey right now. So I just watch everything.
Yeah. Have you ever had to do it?
Huh?
Have you ever had to?
Oh yeah, I was on medication before I went into acidosis. That's why I went into ketoacidosis, was because of the medication they gave me.
Stay in.
Yeah, they almost killed me. So then Brett's like, we're trying to kill you. You're a witch. I'm just kidding. So, but, they do try to.
Yeah, I told you.
So I was like, if I go to the powwow, I can't, I don't dance with, if I'm on medication. I'm not, it's not as
Not in your right.
But I had to do it 1 year because there was no choice, so I used my medication and that as my dance to heal that medication in me, cleanse it, cleanse my body, heal my body so that I don't have to take it. But once in a while I'll check my blood and I'll be at 22. So then I just like, you know, drink a lot of water until it's out of my system. So I gotta drink a lot of water every day, like 3
More than they say that you're supposed to.
Oh, I'm still working up to 3 liters.
I do not drink enough water.
Mitchell, I don't either, but Mitchell just went to the doctor on Friday. He's diabetic, and he said about 4 months after range.
Does he drink a lot of water?
He does, but I'm not.
He should go past 2 liters and then see. But no, medication, everything I took, I just felt like I had a reaction to everything. It put me on like
That's like me.
possible.
Anything I take, any medication I take, it always acts weird and doesn't react with me the way it's supposed to.
And I'm like, I'm not
messes with me.
Right?
Yeah, it's gonna make you cry.
And get healthy.
We
Okay.
went Friday and they were like,
So have you ever used cinnamon to balance out your?
Oh yeah, I have a blend that I put in my coffee. Cinnamon, nutmeg, and turmeric.
Girl, I was gonna say there's like 3 really good spices that'll help naturally just stabilize.
It's
your blood sugar.
amazing. Yeah, cinnamon does work.
Mm-hmm.
I live by that.
It really does. Yeah, we put my father on it too.
I have a powder that I mix. Oh, and ginger. So it's cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, and nutmeg. And I put it in a little jar and I mix it all up and then I just put some in my coffee every day. And it is yummy.
Do you put it in when you're like when it's filtering through?
No, I put it in like a sugar.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you put cream in your coffee, it is just amazing.
but Mitchell doesn't. Mitchell puts it, his grinds, we used to do French press, and he puts his grinds, his cinnamon, and his chaga in the coffee grinds and then perks it. So that
Chaga helps too, like
That's-
big time. I drink chaga regularly because it just keeps you detox, right?
And he hasn't been for the last little while. He like got off of it over the summer, but thought he had a bladder infection the other day. Went to the hospital, went to the doctor, and she's like, "No bladder infection, but lots of protein in your urine." So I'm really worried that your kidneys are gonna.
No, it would be because something is creating ketones in him. So it could be a reaction. That's what they did to me is they put me on this diabetic medication. And then, of course, you're supposed to exercise and stuff, but within 3 days of it, I was in ketoacidosis. They had to pump me with chemo. I couldn't eat for 3 days, and my blood sugar was at 36. When I went into the hospital, they said that they didn't even know what to do with me because most people that came in.
Oh, well, that's all right. You said the word coffee and it's going fast now.
Alert. I'm like, well, probably because I smoked a joint. Because I was dying.
Right? Yeah, really well.
Because Georgina.
Yeah.
It's Robin.
Can I steal some of your oregano for my
Yes,
broom?
of course.
I forgot your mint.
If anyone wants some, I have lots of oregano. If you want to grab a little bit or a bunch, for sure.
Oh, yeah, you got it?
Kind of pretty.
Yeah.
And I'll show you if you want to cook with it. I couldn't
It's not too
believe
far
how.
gone, eh?
No, oh no, you can cook with this. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, you can cook with flowers.
I'll show you how to strip it. So when you strip it, you just grab it at the bottom and just pull.
Just pull it. I have a little
And then you have
stripper.
it all. And then I'll put
Just
that
like a
in
little
my
thing with
cauldron.
different size holes in it or whatever, but yeah.
So if you burn this as an incense, it's supposed to help spirits that are in sorrow. So if you know someone that passed away and it wasn't, a good situation, we will burn this so that
wanna put
we
that in
get
your
rid of
room?
that
Lots of that
sorrow
lately.
for them.
Perfect. Thank
And
you.
it promotes happiness.
You putting a couple sprigs in your... I'm putting a bunch of sprigs in my broom.
So when you're ready and you're finished eating, grab your brooms. I only grew like the kitchen herbs. I did nothing.
I just did the kitchen, and then I forgot your mint today.
Oh, that's okay.
I said I'm gonna pick mint and bring it out.
Now that
So,
I
but
can-
it would have put him in ketosis, like he's been on
Oh,
musical
yeah.
for like 2 years.
It could take a while though before.
your body chemistry changes a lot over that time.
You should at least get papers and
That's what.
if he's got more protein in his pee, then he's more
It's almost like an umbrella broom. I love it.
Yeah.
so you want to break it down a bit.
And then there's things there's like herbs and foods and stuff that you can take that would help
Oh yeah.
with neutralize. And then
Like I would never cook without putting
Oh, yeah.
a vote. I don't even know how to
course.
cook without putting
Yeah.
a vote.
Dog look really nice. I'm just gonna stick a piece in my grill.
It's just,
Yeah,
I was like, what are you doing now? I'm like,
some spring
sure. There's lots.
yeah.
it's funny when we were
Everyone's got their brooms. You can sit. You don't have to stand. I'm sorry I was standing.
I'm not putting this pie down.
So when you are broom flying or using it for the purposes that we talked about earlier, traditionally you just sit in a chair and have it in front of you. And when we put our broom flying on ointment on and we're sitting there, we'll just hold it, and within a few minutes you start to feel what was expressed over there. And it's, even though your eyes are closed, it is easier to blindfold yourself. I find then I'm not peeking and looking and whatever. But aww. So we just focus on it, and then you will actually start feeling like you're going like this, but you actually aren't. And as you start feeling on that motion and you go into that motion, your eyes should be closed, and you'll see that there'll be movement or colors or frequency behind your eyelids. You just pay attention to it, and all of a sudden, it's not like you will feel like you're flying up in the air. What happens is all of a sudden you're there. Okay, there's stars, there's people, and you can even sometimes see people you don't know, because a lot of people will practice that. So it is good to once in a while grab your broom and just kind of feel it, or see what journey you're in, receiving and releasing, or meditating with it. If I need help with something and I need the universe to like really get in there because I don't have the power to do it, this is what I use. Okay, so we're gonna hold our brooms like this, and in between your legs. Of course you can ride it, you know, you will want a shot with it straddled. Okay, the way you stay on your broom is not wearing any underwear. I'm just kidding. It keeps you on, right? You won't slip off. So now we're gonna put our power into it, okay? So when we do this, you want to keep your feet flat on the ground. I like to have the broomstick right by my heart, and repeat after me, okay? Let me find it. And you won't have to do this chant every time you use it. I do this chant to activate the broom, and then if it ever gets stagnant or I feel like my broom's losing power, I will redo the chant, okay? And it's best, if you're going to do that, to redo the chant with a candle to see how powerful that candle flame is from before you do the chant till after, okay? So just repeat after me. You have your hands on. Okay. Magical broom in which I tied.
Magical broom in which I tied.
Be my companion and my guide.
Be my companion and my guide.
By moonlight pale,
By moonlight pale,
my spirit rides the windy gale. To realms beyond both space and time.
to realms beyond both space and time.
To spiritual lands my soul will fly.
To spiritual lands my soul will fly.
In the company of the crone I'll ride.
In the company of the crone I'll ride.
This broom that I hand tied.
This broom that I hand tied.
Now we want to kind of push it up and hold it with both hands. Perfect. I consecrate thee
I consecrate thee
with magical power,
with magical power,
protection, purity,
protection, purity,
and my guiding power.
and my guiding power.
That is what we call the sacred hour.
That is what we call the sacred hour.
Dust to dust,
Dust to dust,
ashes to ashes,
ashes to ashes,
witches broom,
witches broom,
swift in flight,
swift in flight,
cast out darkness,
cast out darkness,
bring in light.
bring in light.
Earth be stabled,
Earth be stable,
air be clear,
air be clear,
fire bright,
fire bright,
water heals.
water heals.
A sacred bridge this place will be,
A sacred bridge this place will be.
as my will so mote it be.
As my will, so mote it be.
And that is it. Congratulations!
Yeah. Good job.
Woo, they look amazing. I have goosebumps everywhere.
Everywhere.
So if you got goosebumps, that's your spirit, your ancestors going like this. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to open the circle, and I would love for you to line them up in the front of the house just so we can take a shot of the brooms. I don't like taking shots of people. I don't post that on my page. I think I like to keep things confidential, and that's why a lot of people don't know what I look like until they meet me. A lot of people think I'm an old, scary hag, right? But no, it's me. So let's open our circle, and then we're free to be, okay? The circle is open, but never unbroken. Merry we meet, merry we part, until we meet again with love in our hearts. So mote it be. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Make sure you take your food if you want, and I'm gonna take the offering down there after and give it to the. Yeah, no problem.
No, you're not.
I'm not gonna put my. I'm not
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
There we go.
So if you want some broom shots.
Broom shots.
Yeah.
I'll
we're
bring
gonna
it
go
mine.
all the way
I don't
across
think
the
they'll.
front.
I don't think they'll fit on this side. Yesterday we had. We were walking around with the brooms. I'm in the house and someone goes down the road. Supposed to be lemon what?
It was awesome. I loved it.
Loved it.